felt drawn to telling you about this. It's a snapshot of Liverpool through somebody's eyes, not mine. I began to write Reflection, my second novel, in June this year, and this piece is from chapter 10. You might want to buy a copy of my signed copy of my book, Momentum, and if you want to, I've got some. Thank you. It's called Celia's Silence. Celia finished assisting the duty consultant and sat quietly reading in a seat at her old friend's bedside. He had plenty of wonderings about their brief pairing, followed by years of separation. He looked old now, but Celia could still see her only love aside from God and her family beneath those mutton chop whiskers and the gleam in his eyes. I remember when I first saw you, he said. Yes, when I took the position here. You don't know what it was like for me. I was an eligible, highly esteemed young doctor. God, those girls gave themselves on a plate. She winced at the word God, as though it was a wound seared when he spoke it. Why did you run off, Celia? You never told me in all these years. But I did. Don't you remember? It was to find my sisters in Liverpool. Celia remembered that it was a grand sailing aboard the steamship. She continued to tell him the story in her mind without using words and without taking her gaze away from him. The medications made the old fool drowsy. I felt important. The children waved at us from the pierhead landing stage. There were ladies and gentlemen dressed in all their finery. Dirty young deckhands had muscles of warriors and strange accents. The men heaved huge ropes. Best of all was when I first stepped off the gangway and stopped to look around and up. I made my way to the palace with the statue birds atop, and I knocked on the door. It was late. I knew no one would answer, but I wanted to touch the brass. Liverpool. The capital of Ireland and first port of call for people from faraway lands was my dream come true. My lovely sisters would surely find, or have found, wealthy gentlemen to marry, and that's why they never returned to Dublin. Well, one of them found an American man. I don't know what happened to Bridie. No one does. I followed the direction of the pointed beak of the strange liver bird that faced inland, and then, as I reached it, I waved to the bird facing outward, to the muddy Mersey River with its gaping mouth and great ships stirring up the silt from its riverbed. I was home now. I'd broken my vow when I sneaked out of the convent after committing a mortal sin. I stole from the Mother Superior to get my ticket for passage. With a few pennies left, I found a church in order to pay to light a candle and to confess. She spoke up again. Oh, I wanted God, but he never wanted me. Not in that place. I was half-starved, and I still wore those metal knickers beneath my ragged dress. The doctor was half awake. Tell me again why you ran from the convent, Celia. I was cross. We were all hungry and our food was slops. I wasn't going to shake the Holy Order with words. I wanted to shout and scream so many times and for different reasons. My ears felt as though they would bleed and my head pounded all the time. The Carmelites did not speak at all. I lasted more than a day though. to a room which only the long-serving nuns, the Mother Superior, and the Father could enter. It was during dinner time after Mass. The cleaning of the church had been my original duty. I cleaned the stained glass windows, polished the wood, and I had to shine up the brass. There was a lot of brass, and silver too. I left, not because of my hard graft for God, but because of my audience before the priest and the Mother Superior. You see, they were in a grand dining room and candles were lit all over the place. I was given a note that told, if you can read and write, you are to work in the bureau from tomorrow. You will be trained to administer to the sick. Kneel if you understand. I knelt, and I made the sign of the cross. I was hungry as always, but I thought they would nod to dismiss me back to the dining hall. Instead, some of the older nuns set a place for me at their table. The Mother Superior waited till the older nuns had left and said, "Sit down, Sister Celia. God has chosen a better position for you." I'd never heard a voice before. The cutlery was silver, and the Father ate steak. Celia walked across the ward to prop up another patient who had slid down in his bed to barriers and looked as though he wanted to escape. When I arrived aboard the ship, it was hard for me to talk because my vocal cords had not been used in so long. I hummed to myself at first. Just hymns the congregation sang as we Carmelites stood outside in our own special pews. Then I practiced my speech. I'm Celia Malone, and I've come from Dublin to find my sisters Bridie and Margaret. Celia, I'm there to ask, why did you run from me here after you came to America? She spoke gently to soothe him. It was for the same reason, I suppose. I thought God never wanted me. Nor did you. And it's about the water of life, or whiskey. And if you like drinking whiskey here? Yeah! One or two. Anyway, Samuel Lover said, good name, huh? Now learned men who use the pen have written their praises high. That sweet poteen from Island Green, distilled from wheat and rye. Throw away your pills, it will cure all ills. Of the pagan, the Christian or Jew. Take off your coat and grease your throat with the real old Mountain Dew.